Welcome back to Power and Politics, live from Toronto this week. Well, it's one thing to protest a bill. It's another thing to fork over $1 million of your own money to fight it. But that's exactly what my next guest plans to do. Fred Garmani is a tech entrepreneur, and yesterday he announced he's giving a cool $1 million to groups fighting to repeal the anti-terrorism law C-51. Why is he doing it? And what will C-51 motivate other people? Will it motivate other people to vote, if not open their wallets? Joining me now to explain is Fred Garmani. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're a tech entrepreneur. You're just you're a business guy.
In theory, yes.
Yeah. So why are you doing this? You've got $1 million sitting around, and this is where you want to put it?
Not exactly. Well, let me just actually give you an introduction.
Yeah.
I have vivid memories growing up in Iran under a totalitarian regime. And I have vivid memories of my parents saying to me, be careful what you say on the phone, because the comité, the secret police, is always listening. And I'm so fortunate that my parents decided to immigrate to this great country. I'm so proud to be Canadian. And what a great country where you can think, speak, write, and do business without 24/7 government surveillance. And this is precisely why I'm upset, because Stephen Harper has taken away these rights. And under C-51, we live in an environment where every laptop, iPad, cell phone is effectively a government recording device, where every boardroom is now bugged. And I'm not just complaining about it, I'm stepping up and giving back to this country that's given so much to me, to bring us back to the Canada that my parents worked so hard to bring us to.
Okay, that's an impassioned plea. I probably should ask you if you have any political leanings.
Well, historically, I love low taxes. I'm a business owner, I employ people, so I love low taxes, I love low government intervention. So I'm usually on the right or center right. But in this election, I'm telling all my friends who are business owners, all my friends, all my employees that on this one individual issue, it's such an existential right, it's such an existential identity issue of being a Canadian. We have to hold our noses and vote against C-51 and vote for NDP.
Really?
I never thought I'd ever say that, so I'm saying it.
Okay, well, that's why you're here.
I mean, to me, what's an extra 5% and save taxes when you have to live up with 24/7 government surveillance? The two just don't. They don't compare.
How do you see C-51 as translating into 24/7 government surveillance? The government's argument, as you know, is that it is to protect Canadians, to make sure that they have all the abilities to monitor terrorists. They're not going after you and I, they're going after people that are legitimate concerns. What do you say to that?
Well, if we look back at history, there are already lessons available to the government, whether it's the MacDonald Commission, the Air India Commission, the 9/11 Commission. The bottom line is our strongest asset in fighting terrorism is the RCMP. And these dragnet 24/7 total information access programs do not fight terrorism. And it's really a false dichotomy that we need to give up our privacy to fight terrorism. The government hasn't proven that case.
So where is the money, the $1 million, where is it going to go? What do you hope it does?
Well, as you know, there's a few groups that have a charter challenge in play, so we're going to be supporting them, and we don't know how much that's going to cost, but it's going to take a few years. We've already allocated 10% of the money to an advocacy group called OpenMedia, which is really trying to educate people online what it means to have 24/7 surveillance available to the government. We're helping the University of Ottawa's legal clinic that's really done an excellent job breaking down the challenges with this law and why it won't help us fight terrorism. And we're also helping the Canadian Journalists for Free Expression, who have launched that charter challenge.
Okay, so let me ask you that question that that point you just made there. Why do you think it won't help fight terrorism? And what do you not agree that the government needs more powers in order to be able to detect where the threats are coming from?
Well, you don't have to believe me. The University of Ottawa, Professor Roach and Forsessi from University of Toronto,
we talked to them a lot during it,
have done an extensive, nonpartisan publication, over 600 pages, and they've broken this bill down, and they've said, even if your intention is to fight terrorism, this legislation will not help. It will actually make it more difficult because it'll push our judiciary into unknown territory.
So the Liberal Party has said that they will repeal parts of it, they'll put sunset clauses in other parts. That's not enough for you?
Well, listen. Mr. Trudeau, you have 4 days. You can stand up and win the progressive vote. You can win the true conservative vote, people like me, by just saying, we're going to start all over. We're going to wipe this law off the books and start all over. Because really, I think that the issue of just saying, well, we're going to water it down and fix this and fix that, it really misses the issue. If the debate is, I'm going to put a camera in your bedroom, the conversation...
But is that what the debate really is?
It really is, because when you look at the arbitrary nature of these dragnet programs, whether it's the Wi-Fi tracking at the airports, whether it's PRISM through the NSA, It's absolutely arbitrary. We don't know who's getting access to information, and we don't know what they're getting.
Why do you think this hasn't become a bigger election issue? Obviously, it's something you care about. It was something we talked a lot about while it was happening, but it hasn't really taken off during the election.
Well, unfortunately, the concept of privacy is an abstract concept. And what I'm trying to do 4 days before the election is to make it a little bit more personal, to make it more real. Because if Canadians knew that their laptops, their iPads, their cell phones were being bugged, they'd be outraged.
Just to clarify again, you want to vote NDP, but you're not a member of the party?
No, absolutely not.
This is just a new revelation for you.
I want lower taxes and lower government intervention. But you know, Stephen Harper, this is a betrayal. This is a betrayal of conservative values. It's a betrayal of Canadian values. Okay. And this is not the Canada that my parents came to.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your impassioned plea about something you care about.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Fred Garmani, he's a technology entrepreneur in Vancouver and joining me here in Toronto tonight. Okay, coming up next.